Please be seated. I think it's afternoon. Good afternoon, and welcome everybody. My name is Alkis Solakis. I'm the Dean of the College of Art and Design, and I'm pleased to be here with this great crowd that is filling this space, not with their numbers, not with your numbers, but with your smiles. For the first time after 2 years, we can see people smiling. So let's keep it that way. Let me start by introducing some of the people on the stage. Please stand as I call your name. These are the college administrative leaders on the platform party to my left and my right. Tom Sofranco, Associate Dean of the College and Professor of Architecture. Tom will be presenting the candidates later in these proceedings and will also be our speaker today. Tom has been doing that for a long time. He's practiced for something like 17 years, so and he's very careful with pronouncing your names. So I'm sure he'll do a great job, as he does always. Lake Douglas, Associate Dean of Research and Development for the college, and Associate Professor, not Associate, and Professor of Landscape Architecture. Michael Desmond, Professor of Architecture and Director of Graduate Studies. Marwan Gandour, Professor and Director of the School of Architecture. Rod Parker, Professor and Director of the School of Art. Marsha Kadabak, Professor and Director of the School of Interior Design. Mark Boyer, Professor and Director of the Robert Reich School of Landscape Architecture. And Dr. James Spencer, Professor of Architecture and Vice Provost and Dean of the LSU Graduate School. Next, I would like to recognize the staff of the college. And would you please stand up wherever you are? If you're already standing, don't sit down. The staff is always here. It's the backbone, along with the faculty, the backbone of the college. And of course, they are the ones that organize this celebration today. So we want to thank them for everything they do. Give them a round of applause. Next, I want to introduce you to the College of Art and Design faculty. Right here, please stand up. These are the professors and instructors are the creative spirits that inhabit and move the college. They create the academic journey and also serve to guide our students through semester after semester, year after year. They inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and shape the character, caliber, and future of your students and you, the soon-to-be graduates. Thank you all. It is truly a privilege to call you colleagues. Please give them a round of applause. Finally, I would like to ask any LSU alumni in attendance, not just alumni of our college, LSU alumni in general, to stand up and be recognized. Do we have any alumni? Excellent. Magnificent. You have led the way. You are the models that these new graduates will follow in their future careers. And you are the delegates to the world that promote the expertise and the values of the disciplines offered at LSU and in our college. Welcome home to all of you. Round of applause. Now, I would like to introduce you to our graduation speaker, Professor of Architecture and Associate Dean in the College of Art and Design, Tom Sofranco. Tom received his master's in architecture and Bachelor of Architecture degrees from Kent State University. That's up north in Ohio. It's cold. He has worked professionally in offices in Florida, Louisiana, and Ohio. Actually, he started in Ohio, and then he came south because it's warmer in every way. And he's been here a long time. His love of the Gulf Coast led him to LSU. He's a full member of the graduate faculty, teaches design studios and construction courses. His research primarily focuses on novice learners, new learners, and was recently published in the book Developing Creative Thinking in Beginning Design. He has been involved with the National Conference on the Beginning Design student for over 20 years. Professor Sofranco has been a faculty member in the School of Architecture since 1992. He got something like a silver plate, I think, last year. It was not silver, it was something else last year as a recognition. And prior to his role as Associate Dean, he served as Director of the School of Architecture and Director of the School of Interior Design. All in all, he has been an instrumental sort of person that has kept things together for 17 years, and at the same time teaching and advising students and so on. So I'm going to let you take the pulpit. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, boss. Parents, family, and friends, good afternoon. Colleagues, thank you for the soapbox. Graduates, wow, look at you. I mean, wow. I can feel it. Like the hairs on my arms are standing up. Now, it could be this polyester nightgown, but I think it's something else. The potential energy in this room is astounding. It thrills me to try and imagine all the things you people are gonna do. I tell you this, when this day is over, my face is gonna hurt from smiling. God, I love beginnings. Orientation, commencement, these are the best days of any professor's life, and that's the reason I choose to work for a state university, just for the potential energy. If you haven't guessed, I'm a pretty happy person. If you knew me well, you'd know I'm the eternal optimist. My wife says I'm aggressively optimistic. And why shouldn't I be? Things are getting better. The world is improving at an accelerated pace. Truly, just some benign, easily verifiable facts about us on this planet. Absolute poverty is declining. We live longer. More mothers survive pregnancy. More babies survive to adulthood. We fight fewer wars. Nuclear arsenals are shrinking. Child labor rates are lower. Workplace accidents are lower. There is more access to food. More people than ever before have access to electricity and clean water. More people than ever before have access to education. Is everything perfect? No, that would be a miracle. If you look, it's not hard to find problems and negativity. Dig, you'll find more. Just remember, the trick is it works for good too. There's a lot of good out there. Look for it, you'll find it. Dig a little deeper, you'll find more. I told you I was optimistic, but I'm not the only optimistic person here. It's most of us in art and design. If you spend all of your time like us, making and questioning, because that's what we really do. We are all artists and designers. In design mode, we make. In art mode, we question. What we work on is never done. It's occasionally due, but it's never done. In our world, the work is the journey. It's a patient search, and you can't really engage in that day-to-day search without an optimistic mindset. But it's also not quite that simple. It never is. This is art and design. We recreate the world from the world. We have to ask questions that aren't always so bright and cheery. Things get messy. In his book, The Middle Years, Henry James said about artists, "We work in the dark, we do what we can, we give what we have. Our doubt is our passion, and our passion is our task. The rest is the madness of art." Darkness, doubt, madness? Pretty strong stuff for a group of optimistic people. But it's true, making and questioning can be an uncomfortable business. I mean, think of the lives of Dante or Wright or Keats, Pollock, Kahlo, or Basquiat. That list goes on. The circumstances that lead to the production of great art or design are often far from reassuring. Think of the patrons, the Medicis, Sir Walter Raleigh, Peggy Guggenheim, the Vogels. Whatever they may have had in common, it certainly wasn't an easy, quiet existence. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you have to be sullen or disgruntled to be an artist or designer. But if it's your wish to lead a blissful, peaceful, unexamined life, you'd probably be well advised to keep art out of it. So how does one stay optimistic in the face of such disquiet? If we reflect on what you've learned over the past however many years, you'll see that not only are you equipped to pursue your passions, but those same skills that allow you to draw and question and make will also be of great benefit as you navigate life's journey. So one of my jobs as Associate Dean is recruiting. So what I'd like to do is just take this opportunity to explain to you graduates that during those recruiting events so many moons ago, I did not sell you a bill of goods. You have learned some extraordinary things that will help you with more than just your next design challenge. Specifically, it's 3 things I think you've learned that are very important: how to fail, how to forget, and most importantly, how to remain on the fence. Now, immediately I see somebody like firing off a missive to their state representative. Don't be alarmed, these are good things. And besides, what could the state possibly take away from us? Let me explain. Let me start with failure. When you arrived in your first studio, you sat there trying to imagine a perfect solution, waiting for divine inspiration, waiting for magic to flow from your fingertips. You wanted every line you put to paper to be perfect. You were so quick to erase the moment a line went astray. Some of you sat there for quite a while until you realized the process isn't automatic. We're not all Mozarts. You learned the beginning meant wrestling with a problem. You learned that failure was closer to success than inaction. Starting with something ugly is infinitely better than not starting at all. You learned to put an idea out there knowing it wasn't so great, and then you engaged in some successful flailing. You took it apart, put it back together, refined the questions you were asking, and finally made something positive. You learned that failure has to be a part of the process. 2 steps forward, 1 step back is the way of the world. How you face that each day is what counts. To your advantage, simply the fact that you've been practicing for 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 years. So yeah, be optimistic about failure. If you failed, at least you know you started. And beginning is everything. How often do we hold ourselves back because it's so easy not to begin? I think Goethe captured it best when he said, "Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. That moment one commits oneself, then providence moves on. All sorts of things occur to help that would never otherwise have occurred. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius and power and magic in it. Begin it now." Good words. Make a friend of failure and accept it's just the first step in beginning. And somewhere down the road, beyond the studio problem, you'll have other anxiety-inducing, frustrating tasks. I don't know, rebuilding the brakes on your car, helping your mother-in-law navigate Medicare. It's all out there. It's all coming. Faced with that, you'll realize the process is the same as designing. It'll start poorly, you'll engage it, you'll wrestle with it, and it'll get better. We were all taught this as children, right? 1 foot in front of the other, pick yourself up, dust yourself off. You guys just happen to have received the finest training available in perseverance. Well, maybe the side of the military. You, my friends, know how to trudge. So now let's talk about forgetting. Again, it was probably during that recruiting visit I told you that a degree in art and design would change the way you saw the world. I'm here to tell you I meant that literally. Your eyes and brain work differently now as compared to when you started. The challenge of your lifetime will always be to find fresh eyes. How do you keep your eyes alert? How do you keep them finely tuned? My advice, keep William Blake's devil in mind. Constantly ask yourself, how do I know but every bird that cuts the airy way is an immense world of delight closed by your senses 5? It's an important question and one we can't answer. What's important is the reminder about what we don't know. If you can set aside or temporarily forget what you think you know, there's a better chance you might glimpse what you don't. You will approach the world differently because of what you've trained your eyes and brain to do. With practice, you've become adept at switching your vision between two very different ways of seeing the world. The first way is the hardwired one, which we all possess, where you see what is really what your brain is telling you to see. A world filtered through the baggage of your 20-odd years of experience. We all do that. That's our default setting. That's why when you learn to draw, maybe life drawing, maybe that perspective drawing, you would often draw from a different vantage point than the one you actually held. Like you're sitting on the ground, but somehow the roof of the car got into the picture, or the roof of the building. You weren't actually seeing the subject as it was presented to you. You were seeing your brain's filtered view, seeing what you thought you were supposed to see. But then eventually, as you learn to draw, you learn to pause that default setting. You learn the skill of momentarily forgetting. If you can forget the name of the thing you're drawing, if you can forget your personal feelings about it, it becomes easier to see, easier to draw. For you amateur artists out there, try this at home. You got a picture of a photograph of a person? Try drawing. Quick, simple, not too complicated, and then make another one. But in the second one, flip the photograph upside down. As soon as you forget who the person is and what your personal feelings are, it's much easier to see the lines, much easier to see the proportions. By forgetting, you learn a different way of looking and seeing. Most people aren't even aware that they're choosing how to see the world. To your credit, you all have learned the value in just being aware that the view you hold isn't the only one out there. And you'll continue to develop this vision of forgetting, striving to see the world raw and unfiltered, struggling to shut off or shut out the biases that your brain wants to insert, seeing the world and withholding judgment. That is a skill that very few people possess, and one that will help with more than just your next assignment. Because Kurtz was right when he told Willard, it is judgment that defeats us. In leadership seminars, there's frequent talk about how to enhance your abilities to become a decisive leader. It is my sincere wish that you never become a quick and decisive decision maker. Because all too often we come in with guns blazing, operating from our default hardwired, self-centered takes on reality. It's rare for any of us to consider things might not be how we see them. With very limited information, we end up passing judgment. Grace takes a moment. You have to pause. You have to sit on the fence and try to forget the filter that's there. Take a moment to entertain the possibility that other views exist. You do this quite often. When you go to the gallery, when you look at a painting, what do? You try and see the subject in the best possible light. You give it every chance. It takes practice, but you've learned to not immediately jump to, I like it, I don't like it. Instead, you give it some time, you sit on the fence, you ask questions, you appreciate. You consider the terms on which the piece operates, and you consider what to do with those terms. You are all able to say, that's not my cup of tea, that's not the painting I would hang on the wall, but yet it's important, I'm glad it's here, I'm glad it exists, I appreciate it. In terms of your greater trajectory, I'm very optimistic. Outside the gallery, you'll always give people the same advantage that you give that painting. You'll pause, you'll allow some space, and you'll look to see them in the best possible light. Now, if we can only teach the rest of the world to do that. Okay, one final recollection and then I'll stop. I told you during that recruiting visit that compared to high school time, university time would fly by. Well, I'm not sure anybody's time is flying by at precisely this moment, but I promise time will keep accelerating. So you promise me this. Promise me you won't let time slip away. live fast. Time is on your side right now, but it's right there, waiting in the wings. Also promise me you'll burn bright. Make us stand in awe. I don't care if you're on the world stage or at the corner drugstore. Be a spark. Be a streak of red against the gray. The degree you're about to receive is a tool. Go make something beautiful with it. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. These were wonderful, inspiring words, and inspiring not just for you graduates, but also for us who keep on teaching, who keep on being here, and keep on guiding you through this, this way that is just starting for you. Now it's time to present diplomas, and I will ask Tom to get up again, and, he will announce the names of our degree candidates by area. As each group is announced, please stand and proceed to your left. When your name is called, please come to the front of the stage to receive your diploma and then return to your seat. Tom.
Thank you, Dean Salakis. As the candidates cross the stage, please note those who are wearing purple and or gold cords, signifying that they are graduating with honors, having achieved an overall grade point average of 3.7 or higher. We will also be acknowledging those who have been selected for membership into Tau Sigma Delta, the Honor Society for Disciplines in the College of Art and Design. Professor Rod Parker from the School of Art will present the diplomas for the Bachelor of Arts degrees. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please rise and proceed to the front of the stage to receive your diplomas? Kennedy Acuff. Patrick Graham Brew. Blair D. Ricard. We will now present the diplomas for the Bachelor of Fine Arts degrees. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts please rise, proceed to the front of the stage to receive your diplomas. Shayla Danielle Baker. Joel Anthony Bellinger. Graduating cum laude, member of Tau Sigma Delta, Paige Madison Ellis. Keandra Deshay Franklin. Amber Rochelle Huff. Wright Van Edward Lillidahl. Graduating cum laude, member of Tau Sigma Delta, Alyssa Danae Strickland. Right, thank you, Director Parker. Professor Marcia Cuddeback, Director of the School of Interior Design, will present the diplomas for the Bachelor of Interior Design degree. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Interior Design please rise and proceed to the front of the stage to receive your diploma? Haley Elizabeth Schwab. Thank you, Director Cuddeback. Dean Salakis, this concludes the awarding of undergraduate degrees.
Thank you, Tom. We will now recognize our master's degree candidates. Just be advised that master's degrees are the terminal professional degrees in our college. Of course, now we have also a Doctor of Design, which is a bit more advanced and research-oriented, but this is sort of the pinnacle, if you want. So Dr. James Spencer, representing the Graduate School Council, will present the master's diplomas.
Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Architecture please rise and proceed to the stage to receive your diploma? Sukirti Sharma. Iridakunda Tuishemi. Thank you, Dr. Spencer. Dean Salakis, this concludes the awarding of graduate degrees.
Thank you, Tom. Graduate, as of this moment, you are no longer students in the College of Art and Design, you are now alumni. And before I say congratulations, take your tassel from the right-hand side and put it on the left-hand side, and that's going to stay there forever. Congratulations. Before we leave, I would like to give thanks to one more special group. I would like to call on parents, grandparents, spouses, family members, and friends to stand up and be recognized. You're the ones that have really supported this effort, and let that not ever be forgotten. We thank you on behalf of the graduates and also on behalf of all of us in the College of Art and Design. I would like to also add my own thanks to all of our guests for coming today. You have helped make this day and this ceremony a memorable one for all of us, even more so because you don't wear masks. Graduates, you have a standing invitation to return, and when you do, you will find that the door of our college, your college, home, will always be home, sweet home, and always be open. We know that you are ready for new adventures, new challenges, and you know that our best thoughts and wishes will always be with you. Good luck to all of you. Would all the graduates please stand and be recognized? Stay standing. It is my privilege to present to you the fall 2021 class of the College of Art and Design. If the guests please remain seated while the platform party and the graduates exit, and then we shall meet in the lobby.